Hello everyone and God bless you. Welcome to the amazing Bible story of Noah's Ark, told in a way to help you drift off into peaceful sleep. Before we begin, I thought it would be a fun idea if you could leave a comment below to let me know where you are listening from in the world. Also remember to like the video and subscribe if you want to hear more like this. Okay, let's get comfy, relaxed, and let's begin. In a time long ago, in a world cradled by ancient hills and wide open skies, there lived a man named Noah. He dwelled in a tranquil landscape, a harmonious realm where nature and spirit intertwined seamlessly. The sun rose slowly over the horizon each morning, casting a soft, golden light across lush valleys and towering trees. The air was fragrant with the scent of wildflowers, and the melodies of birds filled the atmosphere with songs of joy. In this idyllic setting, Noah found his peace, a serene existence intertwined with the rhythm of creation. Noah was a man of deep faith, a gentle soul who listened intently to the whispers of the wind and the rustle of leaves. His heart beat in time with the pulse of the earth, and he moved through the landscape with reverence and gratitude. Each day, he would wander through the fields, feeling the warmth of the sun on his skin and the cool breeze dancing through his hair. As he walked, he marveled at the beauty around him, pausing to admire the intricate patterns of flowers or the majestic flight of an eagle soaring above. In this sacred space, Noah cultivated a deep connection with God. He often found solace in quiet moments of prayer, sitting beneath the expansive branches of an ancient tree that had witnessed countless seasons. With eyes closed, he would listen, allowing God's voice to seep into his heart, guiding him like a compass pointing true north. It was in these moments of stillness that he felt the gentle touch of divine presence, urging him to trust and obey the path set before him. But this tranquil existence was not merely for his own contentment. Noah understood that he was a steward of the earth, chosen to care for the creation around him. With each act of kindness toward the animals and each seed sown in the fertile ground, he honored the Creator who had breathed life into everything. His heart swelled with purpose as he tended to the land, nurturing it as a beloved garden, reflecting the love he felt from God. Yet, even in this peaceful haven, there was an undercurrent of anticipation. Noah sensed that the winds of change were on the horizon, whispering of a journey yet to unfold. It was during one of these quiet moments that he felt a profound stirring within him, a calling that beckoned him to embark on a journey of faith unlike any he had ever known. The voice of God resonated in his heart, urging him to prepare, to build, and to trust in a plan that lay beyond his understanding. As the days turned into weeks, Noah devoted himself to listening and reflecting on this divine calling. He spent long hours in contemplation, seeking wisdom from the Creator and understanding the significance of the task ahead. With every passing day, he felt the pull of faith growing stronger, a quiet assurance that guided him through uncertainty. His wife and children often joined him on his walks, sharing in the beauty of their surroundings, unaware of the weight of the calling Noah was beginning to bear. They laughed together, their voices mingling with the symphony of nature, blissfully unaware that their lives were about to change forever. But Noah felt it in his bones, a stirring that resonated with his spirit, urging him to prepare for what was to come. As he walked along the banks of the gentle river, Noah paused to observe the water glistening under the sun, reflecting the beauty of the sky above. In that moment, he understood the importance of this journey, a journey not just for himself, but for all of creation. He sensed that God was preparing a path that would require courage, obedience, and an unwavering faith that he could rely on to guide him through the storm. "Lord," he whispered, his voice barely audible above the soft babbling of the river, "I am ready to follow your lead. I will trust in your wisdom, no matter how daunting the path may seem." In his heart, he made a vow to embrace the journey ahead, to step into the unknown with faith as his compass and love as his guide. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the world in hues of lavender and gold, Noah felt a sense of calm wash over him. He knew that he was being invited to participate in something far greater than himself, a sacred calling that would intertwine his destiny with the destiny of all living creatures. The beauty of the landscape around him served as a reminder of God's creation, a promise that life would continue even through the storms that lay ahead. With each passing day, the invitation to this journey of faith became clearer, and Noah resolved to share his heart and hopes with his family. He understood that they would need to unite in purpose and trust, as they were about to embark on a journey filled with both trials and triumphs. Together, they would navigate the waters of uncertainty, guided by the steady hand of God. As the stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, Noah returned home, his heart brimming with anticipation. He was ready to embrace the unknown, to trust in the guidance he had received, and to step boldly into the journey that awaited him. With the soft night air wrapping around him, he felt a sense of peace settle in his soul, a quiet assurance that he was not alone in this endeavor. In the days to come, as the journey unfolded, Noah would hold fast to the belief that every step taken in faith would lead to the fulfillment of God's promise. And so, he opened his heart to the adventure ahead, ready to follow where the divine would lead, with trust, obedience, and love lighting the way. In the stillness of a clear, quiet evening, Noah stood on the edge of the fields surrounding his home, gazing out at the distant hills bathed in the soft glow of twilight. He marveled at the beauty of the world around him, the sky painted with hues of amber and violet, the peaceful rustling of the leaves, the distant calls of birds as they settled into the trees. Yet beneath this serenity, Noah felt a subtle heaviness, a sense that something profound was about to unfold. As he breathed in the evening air, he whispered a quiet prayer, asking for guidance and strength, unaware that soon his life would take a path he could never have imagined. In the midst of this quiet moment, Noah felt a presence, a warmth that surrounded him like a gentle embrace. He felt as though he was no longer alone, as though he was standing in the presence of something vast and holy. His heart began to beat steadily, and his mind stilled, quieting under the weight of the sacred. It was then that he heard God's voice, not a loud or overwhelming sound, but a steady, deep whisper that seemed to resonate within his very soul. "Noah," the voice said, calm yet filled with a gravity that Noah couldn't ignore. "The earth has grown full of violence, and all creation is suffering under the weight of sin. I am grieved by what I see, for mankind has turned away from my ways and embraced paths of destruction. Yet, among all who walk the earth, you have remained faithful. You have walked with me, and you have held fast to righteousness." Noah's heart swelled with awe and reverence as he listened. He understood that God's words carried both sorrow and compassion, and he felt the weight of them deeply. He thought of the world around him, of the choices others had made, the harm that had come to so many. The world had indeed changed from what it was meant to be, and Noah felt a surge of compassion as he sensed the deep sadness in God's words. Then, as Noah stood silent, God revealed a plan that would alter the course of history. "I will send a flood upon the earth, a cleansing of all that is corrupt and broken. All flesh shall perish in the waters, save for those who take refuge within the ark you shall build. This ark will be a place of safety, a shelter from the storm, a promise of my covenant with all who seek me. You, Noah, and your family will be the ones to carry forth this hope, to preserve the life I have created." Noah's mind spun as he absorbed the words. A flood, an endless expanse of water that would cover the land. It was difficult to imagine, a force beyond anything he had ever seen. Yet as he felt the steady assurance of God's presence, Noah knew with all his heart that these words were true. He understood that this was no ordinary task, but a calling that would demand his full trust, his faith, and his obedience. Without hesitation, Noah lowered his head, bowing in humble reverence. "Lord," he replied softly, his voice steady with conviction, "I will do as you have commanded. I will build the ark. I will follow your guidance and place my trust in your will, even though I do not fully understand. Your wisdom is beyond all understanding, and I will walk in faith." God's instructions continued, filling Noah's heart with both purpose and awe. With careful detail, God described the dimensions of the ark, a massive structure built to house not only Noah's family, but pairs of every living creature that walked, crawled, flew, or swam on the earth. Each measurement was precise, each step clear, as if God himself was placing the blueprints of this sacred vessel into Noah's hands. The ark would be constructed of gopher wood, and Noah would coat it inside and out with pitch to make it watertight. It would have 3 levels, each designed to hold the vast number of animals that would seek shelter within. There would be a door on the side and a window set high to let in light and air. God's plan was detailed, deliberate, each instruction a testament to his wisdom and care for even the smallest creature that would be saved. As the night deepened, Noah remained in silent awe, absorbing each word. He felt a great sense of purpose rising within him, a knowledge that he was being called to participate in something far beyond himself. He could see the challenge ahead, the hard work it would demand, but he felt no fear. He understood that God was not merely calling him to build a vessel. He was calling him to build a place of hope, a promise of new beginnings. Noah rose each morning before dawn, his spirit filled with a sense of reverence and purpose. He walked quietly through the forests and across the rolling fields, knowing that each step brought him closer to fulfilling God's command. The air was crisp, and the world around him seemed to pause, as if even nature itself was aware of the task at hand. Noah carried a simple but sharp axe, its blade glinting faintly in the morning light, and a heart filled with humble devotion, ready to begin the sacred work set before him. The trees towered above him, strong and steadfast, their branches reaching high toward the heavens. Noah walked among them with reverence, searching carefully for the right trees to cut. He ran his hand over each trunk, feeling the life coursing within, and offered a silent prayer of gratitude for each one. He knew that the wood would form the body of the ark, each plank a piece of protection for him, his family, and the countless creatures that would shelter within. The trees were not just resources. They were gifts from God, part of the land's bounty, and he treated them with utmost care. As he selected each tree, Noah would pause to consider it thoughtfully, whispering a few words of thanks before lifting his axe. He struck with skill, each swing careful and deliberate, and as the wood gave way, he felt a profound connection to the earth and to the Creator who had brought this world to life. As each tree fell, he saw it not as destruction, but as transformation, a willing offering to God's plan, one that would help protect life from the storm to come. Each fallen tree seemed to whisper its acceptance, becoming a part of something far greater than itself. By midday, Noah would carry the harvested wood back to the clearing where the ark would soon take shape. He worked tirelessly, pulling each log and plank through the forest paths, the weight heavy on his shoulders yet lightened by his spirit. His 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, joined him, their faces resolute and hands willing. Together, they moved with quiet efficiency, their footsteps falling in unison as they carried the beams and shaped each piece to fit the ark's growing frame. They understood the magnitude of this task, and as they labored together, their hearts were filled with gratitude for the chance to serve this greater purpose. As they worked, the townspeople watched with curiosity. They had noticed Noah's efforts, the steady construction of the enormous wooden vessel taking shape on the edge of town. Whispers spread among them, a mixture of wonder, doubt, and even disbelief. Some were intrigued, sensing that something extraordinary was unfolding. Others dismissed it as foolishness. After all, why would anyone build such a massive structure on dry land, miles from any sea or river? One afternoon, a group of curious townspeople approached Noah as he paused from his work. "Noah," one of them called out, "what is this that you are building? Such a vessel belongs on the ocean, not here among the fields and trees. What purpose does it serve?" Noah turned to them, his eyes kind and steady, and answered simply, "It is an ark, a place of refuge, built in obedience to God's command. It will shelter my family and the creatures of the earth, a safe haven from the floodwaters that will cover the land." The people looked at one another, some with concern, others with skepticism. "A flood, you say?" another asked. "But the skies are clear, and the rivers run as they always have. How can you be certain?" Noah smiled softly, understanding their confusion. He had asked similar questions himself when he first heard God's voice, but he had found his answer in faith. "I do not know the ways of God, but I trust in his wisdom," Noah replied. "This ark is his design, and I am only the hands that build it. My heart is filled with peace, for I know that his purpose is greater than any I could see or understand." Some in the crowd nodded thoughtfully, while others shook their heads in disbelief. Yet Noah's calm confidence left an impression, a quiet ripple that stirred within their hearts. They walked away with much to ponder, and though many could not comprehend his actions, Noah's faith planted a seed within their spirits, a glimmer of hope, a reminder of something larger than themselves. As the days turned into weeks, Noah continued his work, rising with the dawn and laboring until the stars filled the night sky. His hands grew calloused, his muscles weary, yet his spirit remained strong. Each piece of wood was carefully measured and cut, every joint fitted with precision, as if he were crafting not just a vessel, but a work of devotion. The ark became a symbol of his faith, a testament to the trust he placed in God's plan. With each plank and beam, he felt his heart lifted, filled with a sense of joy and peace that carried him through even the most difficult moments. In the evenings, Noah and his family would gather around a small fire, their faces illuminated by its gentle glow. They shared simple meals, their laughter mingling with the sounds of the forest, their hearts united by the journey they shared. They spoke of their hopes and dreams, of the future they could not yet see but trusted would come. And in those quiet moments, they felt God's presence among them, a loving assurance that their work was not in vain. One night, as they sat together, Noah spoke to his sons, his voice soft yet filled with conviction. "This ark is not only a vessel of wood and nails," he told them, "but a promise of life, a testament to the hope that lies within us. We are building not just for ourselves, but for every creature that walks upon this earth, every bird that flies through the sky, and every fish that swims in the sea. It is a reminder that we are all part of God's creation, bound together by his love and grace." Shem, Ham, and Japheth listened with reverence, understanding the depth of their father's words. They felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that they were part of something extraordinary, a story that would be remembered for generations to come. Their hearts swelled with gratitude, for they knew that they were not alone. God's hand was upon them, guiding each step, shaping each moment. In the following days, the ark began to take its final shape. Its massive frame stood tall and strong, a mighty vessel rising from the earth as if born from the soil itself. The townspeople marveled at its size, at the craftsmanship and care with which it was built. And though many still questioned its purpose, they could not deny the dedication they saw in Noah's eyes. As Noah placed the final beams, he stepped back and gazed upon the ark, his heart filled with a quiet sense of accomplishment. He knew that this was not the end, but the beginning of a journey that would lead them into the unknown. He felt a deep peace within, a calm assurance that God's promise would be fulfilled. And as he looked upon the ark, he offered a silent prayer of gratitude, his spirit lifted by the knowledge that he was exactly where he was meant to be. He knew that the ark was more than just a structure. It was a symbol of faith, a testament to the hope that lies within the heart of every living being. It was a reminder that, even in the face of uncertainty, there is always a place of refuge, a place where love and grace can be found. One quiet morning, as the sun cast soft light over the clearing where the ark stood, Noah awoke to a remarkable sight. From the forest and plains surrounding their home, animals of every shape and size began to appear, each moving toward the ark with calm, deliberate steps. It was as if an invisible hand was guiding them, drawing them from their habitats and nests, urging them to journey to this place of refuge. Noah felt his heart swell with awe at the sight. The gathering of creatures was a living testimony to God's hand in all of creation. Noah called to his family, and together they stood in wonder, watching as animals of all kinds made their way into the clearing. Birds with feathers of every color flew in from the trees, their wings flashing in the sunlight. Eagles soared with grace, sparrows flitted from branch to branch, and even the rarest of birds, with plumage like fire and gold, settled peacefully around the ark. They perched in clusters on nearby trees, filling the air with a gentle, harmonious chorus that sounded like nature's own song of praise. From the plains and rivers, creatures great and small appeared. Elephants, majestic and strong, lumbered forward, their trunks swaying with each step, while gazelles moved in graceful bounds beside them, their eyes wide but calm. Noah watched in amazement as lions padded through the grass, their golden eyes gleaming, yet showing no signs of hunger or aggression. Beside them walked antelope, unafraid, as if they, too, were filled with a peace that transcended the natural instincts that usually kept them apart. The family stood in silence, observing the miracle that unfolded before them. Never before had they seen such harmony, such unity among the creatures of the earth. Wolves moved alongside lambs, bears padded beside deer, and mighty rhinoceroses stepped carefully beside smaller animals, aware of their presence and taking care not to harm them. It was as if all creation had been woven together by a gentle, invisible hand, knitting them into a single, peaceful procession. In the skies above, flocks of birds circled, their wings creating a gentle breeze that carried a feeling of serenity across the clearing. The doves, pure white and graceful, landed near Noah and his family, cooing softly as if to reassure them of God's promise. Parrots, toucans, and even brightly colored macaws rested in the trees, adding their vibrant colors to the scene, like living flowers adorning the branches. As each group of animals reached the ark, they paused briefly, as though paying respect to the vessel that would soon carry them. One by one, they began to find their places, settling calmly in the areas Noah had prepared. Noah felt his heart fill with gratitude and wonder as he observed their patience and obedience. This was more than a simple gathering of creatures. It was an act of faith, an acknowledgement of God's presence and protection, even for the smallest among them. Noah's sons moved among the animals, guiding them gently into their designated places, marveling at the gentleness with which even the largest beasts responded. Shem carefully led a pair of leopards, their sleek coats gleaming in the sunlight, into a quiet area where they could rest. Ham, with steady hands, guided a pair of towering giraffes, their heads held high, into a space where they could reach branches and leaves he had gathered for them. Japheth, too, moved through the crowd, offering gentle words and gestures to calm the animals as they found their places. He was particularly taken by a pair of elephants, their massive forms moving with surprising grace. He whispered to them as he led them forward, his words soft and reassuring. The elephants lifted their trunks, as though acknowledging his kindness, and followed him willingly, their deep, wise eyes filled with trust. As the animals settled in, a profound stillness filled the air. It was a silence not of absence, but of peace, a quiet that held within it the murmurs of life, the gentle rustling of feathers, and the soft breathing of the creatures as they found comfort in their new surroundings. Each animal seemed to understand its place in this extraordinary gathering, resting peacefully beside its natural companions and even those who, in another setting, might have been rivals or prey. Noah felt tears gather in his eyes as he observed this scene of perfect harmony. It was a glimpse of creation as it had been in Eden, a return to a time before strife and conflict, when all creatures lived in peace under the care of their Creator. He looked toward the heavens, his heart filled with gratitude and awe, knowing that this was a blessing beyond measure, a sign of God's love for every living being. As evening drew near, the sky deepened into shades of rose and violet, casting a gentle glow over the ark and the gathered animals. Birds tucked their heads beneath their wings, settling down for the night, while lions and tigers stretched out in the grass, their bodies relaxed, their eyes closing in peace. Deer curled up beside wolves, bears lay beside sheep, and even the smallest creatures, the mice and rabbits, found places to rest safely among the giants. The sounds of the animals breathing and the rustling of leaves became a lullaby, a gentle symphony that rose and fell with the rhythm of nature. Noah and his family moved quietly among the animals, offering water and food to those in need, making sure each creature was comfortable and safe. They felt the privilege of their task deeply, understanding that they were caretakers of this remarkable gathering, chosen to protect and preserve God's creation. In the final moments of twilight, Noah stood at the edge of the clearing, his heart overflowing with gratitude and wonder. He looked out over the peaceful scene, feeling as though he were witnessing a moment of divine harmony, a glimpse into the heart of God. The ark, filled with the gentle sounds of life, stood ready to fulfill its purpose, a symbol of hope and renewal that would carry them through the coming storm. Noah offered a quiet prayer of thanks, his words a soft murmur that blended with the sounds of the forest and the night. He thanked God for his guidance, for his love, and for the chance to serve as a guardian of this precious gathering. He prayed for strength, for courage, and for the grace to protect each creature entrusted to his care. And in the stillness, he felt God's presence, a gentle assurance that they were not alone, that his hand was upon them, guiding and sheltering them through each step of the journey. As night fell and the first stars appeared in the sky, Noah and his family settled down beside the ark, their hearts filled with peace. They listened to the soft rustle of feathers, the quiet breathing of the animals, and the gentle sigh of the wind as it moved through the trees. It was a moment of perfect stillness, a pause in time where all creation seemed to hold its breath, united by a single purpose, a single hope. They knew that the days ahead would bring challenges, that the waters would rise and the storms would come. But in that moment, they felt the strength of God's love surrounding them, a shield of peace that would carry them through whatever lay ahead. And as they closed their eyes, they rested in the assurance that they were exactly where they were meant to be, held in the hands of the Creator, safe within His plan. The day had finally come, as dawn's first light stretched across the sky, casting a soft glow over the land. Noah and his family gathered in the shadow of the great ark, preparing themselves for what lay ahead. The ark towered above them, a symbol of safety and purpose, yet stepping into it meant leaving behind everything familiar. The fields they had tended, the friends and neighbors they had known, even the lands they had walked upon for so many years. All would remain on the other side of the door. There was a solemnity in the air, a quiet acknowledgement of the world they were about to leave behind. As Noah stood with his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives, they gazed one last time at the place they had called home. Though they felt a deep peace in their hearts, knowing they were following God's call, the farewell was bittersweet. The trees where they had played as children, the hills they had climbed, the streams they had fished in, all these familiar sights seemed to glow with a gentle beauty as the family took in the scene one last time. They knew that once they entered the ark, they would be leaving behind the land they had loved, stepping into a future unknown, guided only by faith. The animals, too, seemed to sense the gravity of the moment. Pairs of creatures from across the earth had gathered, and they now stood quietly around the ark, as if in silent understanding of the journey they were about to undertake. Lions stood beside lambs, eagles perched beside doves, each creature calm and composed, showing no signs of fear or hesitation. They had come by God's command, drawn from forests, plains, and mountains, and now they awaited the signal to enter the ark. It was a sight both humbling and awe-inspiring, a reminder of the harmony God intended for all living things, a glimpse of a world without fear or division. Noah's wife approached him and took his hand, her gaze steady and filled with unspoken trust. She had been by his side through all the years of work and sacrifice, and now, as they prepared to board the ark, she stood with him once more, ready to face the unknown. Together, they looked upon their family, taking in the expressions of their sons and daughters-in-law, each carrying their own mix of anticipation and reflection. Noah stepped forward, and in a quiet, steady voice, he addressed them. "My beloved family," he began, his voice strong yet gentle, "we have been chosen to carry forward God's promise. Today, we say goodbye to what we have known and step into the protection He has provided. Let us give thanks for the lives we have lived and trust in the path He has set before us." With a nod, his sons and their wives knelt, bowing their heads in prayer. Together, they offered words of gratitude and supplication, each prayer rising like incense to the heavens. They prayed for the courage to face the days ahead, for the grace to trust in God's wisdom, and for the peace to accept whatever lay beyond the horizon. They thanked God for the beauty of creation, for the life they had been given, and for the strength to serve as stewards of His covenant. After the prayer, Noah embraced each of his sons, his heart swelling with pride and love. He knew that they, too, had left behind much: friends, memories, a familiar way of life. Yet they had each chosen to follow, to walk in faith alongside him, trusting in the promise that lay within the ark's wooden walls. He clasped their hands, one by one, whispering words of encouragement and love, reassuring them that they were not alone, that God's presence would guide them through whatever challenges lay ahead. The time had come for the animals to enter the ark. Noah's sons moved among them, offering gentle guidance, helping each pair find their way inside. The elephants moved with slow, steady steps, their great forms casting long shadows as they passed. The birds took flight, swooping into the ark in flocks, filling the air with the sound of wings. Even the smallest creatures, the mice and squirrels, scurried forward, finding their places within the ark's shelter. It was a remarkable sight, a procession of life moving in harmony, each creature taking its place within the vessel of hope. As Noah watched the animals enter, he felt a deep sense of wonder. This was more than an exodus. It was an act of faith, a testament to the unseen hand that had called them. The lions moved beside deer without a hint of aggression. The doves nestled beside hawks in peaceful companionship. The ark's doors, tall and wide, stood open, inviting all who came in peace to enter and find refuge. With the animals safely inside, it was now time for Noah and his family to board the ark. Noah turned to his wife and sons, his heart filled with a mixture of sorrow and anticipation. He knew that once they crossed the threshold, their lives would be forever changed. Together, they took a final look at the world outside, at the trees swaying gently in the breeze, the familiar paths they had walked, and the sky stretching vast and endless above them. As they stepped forward, Noah placed his hand on the sturdy wood of the ark, feeling the rough texture beneath his fingers. This vessel, built with his own hands and by the grace of God's guidance, would soon carry them through the great flood, a shelter from the storm. He took a steady breath, feeling the strength of God's presence surrounding him, filling him with peace and assurance. One by one, his family entered the ark, each step taken with quiet faith. As they crossed the threshold, they felt the weight of the moment, the finality of leaving behind all they had known. They were entering a new chapter, a journey into the unknown, guided only by their trust in the one who had called them. Together, they took their places within the ark, surrounded by the sounds of the animals, the warmth of their family, and the quiet hum of life itself. When they were all inside, Noah stood by the door, looking out one last time. The world outside was peaceful, the sky clear, the air filled with the scent of earth and trees. But he knew that this tranquility would soon give way to something far beyond his understanding. With a final, steady breath, he whispered a silent farewell, a prayer for those who remained outside, and a blessing over the journey that lay ahead. In that sacred moment, the door of the ark began to close, moved by an unseen force, as if God himself was sealing them inside. As it shut, a profound silence filled the ark, a stillness that settled over them like a cloak of peace. They were now enclosed within the vessel that would carry them through the flood, a vessel held in the hands of the Creator. Noah and his family looked at one another, their faces filled with both awe and humility. They were not alone. They were surrounded by life, by the creatures entrusted to their care, by the promise of a new beginning. Together, they bowed their heads in prayer, lifting their hearts in gratitude and hope, trusting in the shelter of God's love. And so, within the ark's walls, they waited. They listened to the gentle sounds of the animals settling in, the quiet murmur of life breathing in harmony. The world outside had grown still, as if holding its breath. And as they sat in that holy silence, Noah and his family knew that they were safe, held within the embrace of God's promise, sheltered by his grace as they prepared to face the unknown journey ahead. Inside the ark, a peaceful quiet had settled over Noah and his family. They moved through the spacious corridors of the vessel, checking on the animals, ensuring that each creature was comfortable in its place. The days since they had entered had been calm and uneventful, and although they knew what was to come, there was still an air of uncertainty. Noah's family carried a quiet readiness, preparing their hearts and minds for the beginning of the great flood. All around them, the sounds of life filled the ark, a soft murmur of animals stirring, birds softly cooing from their roosts, a calm symphony of creation resting in peaceful expectation. Then, Early one morning, a soft pattering sound broke the silence. Noah looked up, listening closely. The sound was subtle, a gentle rhythm that seemed to echo through the ark's walls. He moved toward the window, his heart stirring with recognition. Rain. The first raindrops had begun to fall. Tiny droplets danced against the wooden planks, leaving faint trails on the window and running down in slender, glistening lines. For a brief moment, Noah simply watched, his heart filled with a deep sense of awe and reverence. It had begun, the rain that would grow to encompass the entire earth, that would fulfill God's promise. The raindrops began to fall faster, growing into a steady, drumming rhythm. Outside, the world was enveloped in a gentle mist, softening the landscape, blurring the edges of trees and hills. From the windows of the ark, Noah and his family watched as the rain turned the earth to a glistening canvas, painting the world in shades of gray and silver. Each drop that fell seemed to carry the weight of divine purpose, a reminder of the covenant that had led them here. As the hours passed, the rain grew heavier, transforming from a gentle shower to a steady downpour. The earth drank in the water, its thirsty soil absorbing every drop, darkening as it became saturated. Pools began to form, small at first, then growing into wide, shimmering sheets that reflected the gray sky above. Streams overflowed, spilling over their banks, joining together to form wide currents that wound through the landscape like rivers. The rain beat steadily, unyielding, filling every hollow, every low-lying valley. The sound of it was mesmerizing, a constant, rhythmic pulse that seemed to echo within the very walls of the ark. Noah's family gathered near the window, their eyes wide with wonder. They had never seen rain like this, steady, unrelenting, as though the heavens had opened and were pouring out all the waters of the sky. There was something both beautiful and humbling in the sight, a reminder of the power and majesty of the one who had commanded the flood. Together, they watched as the waters began to rise, creeping slowly across the land, covering the familiar paths and fields, transforming the earth into a vast, endless expanse of water. Inside the ark, the animals stirred, sensing the change in the air. The birds ruffled their feathers, shifting on their perches as they listened to the steady drumming of rain on the roof. The larger animals lay quietly, their eyes reflecting a quiet understanding, as if they too knew that they were part of something far greater than themselves. Each creature seemed to settle into the rhythm of the rain, accepting the journey ahead with the same peace that filled Noah's heart. The rain continued through the night, unceasing, as the waters rose higher and higher. Rivers overflowed, streams swelled, and soon the landscape was a vast sea, stretching endlessly in every direction. Trees became small islands, their branches dipping low as the waters climbed higher, swallowing the ground beneath them. Hills and valleys alike were submerged, until the earth itself seemed to vanish, hidden beneath the endless, swelling waves. The ark, built upon solid ground, began to shift, its weight lifting as the waters rose to meet it. Noah felt the ark sway gently, a soft, rhythmic rocking that reminded him of a cradle, as if the hand of God himself was lifting them above the waters. The first gentle rocking gave way to a stronger pull as the ark floated freely, carried by the currents that now swirled around them. Inside, Noah's family held fast, feeling the power of the water as it lifted them higher, carrying them away from the world they had known. They could feel the motion, the steady rise of the ark as it ascended with the waters, and in their hearts, a deep peace settled, a trust that they were safe, held within the embrace of God's promise. Outside, the rain poured without ceasing, each drop a testament to the might and mercy of the Creator. The ark was their sanctuary, a place of safety and peace amid the rising waves. They could feel the presence of God surrounding them, a sheltering warmth that filled the vessel with calm. As they moved through the ark, caring for the animals, checking on one another, they felt a sense of unity, a shared purpose that bound them together in faith. The days turned into nights, and the nights back into days, yet the rain did not stop. The steady rhythm of water against the ark became a familiar sound, a backdrop to their lives within this vessel of hope. As the ark drifted, Noah and his family found comfort in the routine they had established. They rose each morning to tend to the animals, to care for one another, to offer their prayers of gratitude and trust. Their lives became a cycle of simple tasks, each one a reminder of their purpose, their calling, and the faith that held them together. With each passing day, they grew accustomed to the gentle sway of the ark, to the sounds of the animals resting peacefully beside them, to the quiet stillness that filled the vessel. They were far from the world they had known, yet within the ark, they felt a deep sense of belonging, a reassurance that they were exactly where they were meant to be. The rain continued to fall, but they no longer feared it. They had come to understand that it was part of the plan, a cleansing that would prepare the earth for a new beginning. As the ark drifted on the endless sea, Noah would often pause, gazing out at the waters that stretched as far as the eye could see. He marveled at the sight, the vast expanse that had once been fields and valleys now transformed into a rolling, boundless ocean. It was both humbling and awe-inspiring, a reminder of the power of God's word, of the might of the one who held all creation in his hands. And yet, within that vastness, Noah felt a profound peace, a knowledge that they were never alone. Inside the ark, the days took on a rhythm of their own. There was work to be done, yet it was a labor of love, an offering to the one who had guided them, protected them, and brought them safely this far. Noah's family found joy in each moment, in the simple tasks of caring for the animals, in the warmth of each other's company, in the steady presence of the Creator who watched over them. They knew that the journey would not be easy, that the days ahead would hold challenges they could not yet see, but they trusted in the one who had called them, believing that he would bring them through. And so, day by day, the rain fell and the waters rose, covering the earth in a blanket of deep, quiet calm. The ark drifted upon the waves, carried by the currents of faith and promise, a symbol of hope amid a world transformed by water. Within its walls, Noah and his family waited, their souls anchored in the knowledge that they were held within the embrace of God. As the rain continued to fall, the days stretched into weeks, and the weeks melded into the rhythm of time within the ark. Each morning, Noah awoke to the steady sound of water drumming on the roof, a gentle reminder of the promise and purpose that had guided them to this sanctuary. The rain was relentless, pouring down from the heavens in an unending cascade, transforming the world outside into an endless sea, while within the ark, life pulsed steadily on. The first days of the downpour had been filled with wonder and anticipation, but as time wore on, a sense of solemnity settled over the family. They found themselves counting the days, marking each one on the rough wooden beams of the ark, noting the passing of time and the growing depth of the waters. Noah's heart swelled with a mixture of gratitude and concern. He had been chosen for a divine purpose, yet the weight of it pressed heavily upon him as the rain continued to fall day after day. The ark, their floating sanctuary, had become a bustling haven of life. Inside, Noah and his family worked together, caring for the myriad of animals that had taken refuge with them. Every task was vital: feeding the creatures, cleaning their spaces, and ensuring that each one was healthy and calm. The family had formed a rhythm, a harmonious dance of labor and love that filled the ark with purpose. They shared laughter, stories, and moments of quiet reflection, forging bonds that would strengthen them for the journey ahead. Yet outside, the rain grew stronger, relentless in its pouring. It seemed to come from every direction, as if the sky itself had opened wide, pouring forth the very waters of creation. Each drop that struck the surface of the ark sent a shiver through the wooden structure, a reminder of the power of the storm raging beyond their haven. The sound of the rain became a constant companion, a deep, rhythmic pulse that resonated through the vessel, wrapping them in its embrace. As the days passed, the landscape outside transformed into a vast ocean. Trees, once proud and tall, now stood half submerged in water, their branches reaching out like arms grasping for salvation. Fields that had once flourished with crops became distant memories, hidden beneath the rising tide. The world as Noah had known it was gone, replaced by a vast expanse of water that seemed to stretch on forever. The realization of what had come to pass weighed heavily on Noah's heart. Yet within the walls of the ark, a profound sense of safety enveloped them. Noah often gathered his family together in the spacious central area of the ark, sharing stories of the days before the flood, of the beauty of creation, and of the kindness that had once flourished among the people. He spoke of the importance of hope, of faith, and of the promise that lay ahead. The stories filled the air with warmth and light, reminding them of the world outside and the beauty that still existed, even if it was now hidden beneath the waves. As the rain continued to fall, it marked the passage of time with a solemn cadence. The first week had faded into the second, then into the third, and soon the fourth week unfolded with the same unyielding rhythm. The family counted the days, their hearts filled with a mix of wonder and anxiety as they faced the reality of their situation. They prayed together, offering their concerns and hopes to God, seeking His guidance and comfort amid the tumult. Throughout this time, Noah was a steadfast anchor for his family. He often stood at the ark's windows, gazing out into the endless rain, watching as the waters continued to rise, swallowing the remnants of the world he had known. Each time he looked out, he felt the weight of responsibility pressing down upon him, knowing that he was chosen not just for his family's survival, but for the continuation of life itself. During one particularly stormy night, as the rain lashed against the ark with furious intensity, Noah gathered his family close. "We have been given this time for a reason," he said, his voice steady despite the storm. "We are safe here. God has chosen us to carry forward His creation, to honor the beauty of life even in the midst of this flood. Let us hold fast to our faith, to one another, and to the promise that lies ahead." The family nodded, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of the oil lamps. They felt the strength of Noah's words, a lifeline in the midst of the storm. They knew that their journey was far from over, and that they would have to rely on one another and their faith to weather the days ahead. As the rain continued to pour, Noah and his family remained vigilant, caring for the animals and tending to each other's needs. They shared moments of joy and laughter, finding comfort in the small things. A new animal born within the ark, the laughter of the children, and the quiet moments of prayer that connected them to the divine. Each day, they remained watchful, prepared for whatever lay ahead, knowing that they were held within the promise of God. Then, as the 40 days and nights unfolded, the rain began to change in character. It shifted from a fierce downpour to a steady drizzle, the relentless torrent becoming a gentle patter that soothed the stormy waters outside. Noah stood by the window, watching the clouds begin to part, the darkness giving way to soft hues of gray and hints of blue. For the first time in weeks, he felt a stirring of hope, a reminder that the rain would not last forever. "Look," one of his sons exclaimed, pointing toward the horizon. "The sky is clearing." And indeed, as they gathered by the windows, they could see the faintest glimmers of sunlight breaking through the clouds, illuminating the waters below with a shimmering glow. A sense of relief washed over the family, filling their hearts with anticipation. They had endured, they had held fast, and now it seemed that the storm was beginning to pass. As the last of the rain fell, Noah gathered his family once more, taking their hands in his. "We have made it through the flood," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Together, we have weathered this storm. Let us give thanks to God for His protection, for His guidance, and for the promise of new beginnings." And so they prayed, their hearts united in gratitude, as the waters began to recede, marking the end of a long and arduous journey. Within the ark, hope blossomed anew, a reminder that even in the darkest storms, the sun would eventually shine again. As the last droplets of rain fell from the sky, a serene stillness enveloped the world outside the ark. The once fierce torrents that had poured down day and night were now mere whispers, fading into a gentle hum. The wind had calmed, and the skies began to clear, revealing soft shades of blue and wisps of white clouds drifting lazily across the horizon. A hush fell over the landscape, a profound silence that was almost palpable, as if the very earth was taking a deep breath after the long storm. Noah stood at the window, his heart swelling with a mix of awe and gratitude. The waters, once a raging sea, had settled into a smooth, glassy surface, reflecting the sky above in shimmering hues. It was a breathtaking sight, one that spoke of renewal and rebirth. The ark floated serenely upon this vast expanse of water, a beacon of hope in a world transformed. Outside, everything was still. The only sounds were the gentle lapping of the water against the hull and the faint rustle of the animals within the ark, who had settled into a quiet rest. As the family gathered near the windows, they felt the weight of the moment. This was a time of reflection, a pause between the chaos of the storm and the promise of what was to come. Noah's heart was filled with a deep sense of peace as he gazed out at the world that lay before him. The trees, once proud and strong, were now surrounded by water, their branches dipping low, but they still stood tall, resilient against the elements. Nature had endured, and in this stillness, there was an echo of God's promise that life would continue. Within the ark, there was an unspoken understanding among Noah and his family. They had faced the storm together, and now they would face the aftermath as well. Each person took a moment to reflect, considering what the flood had meant not just for them, but for all of creation. They felt the weight of responsibility that came with survival, the knowledge that they were the chosen ones to carry forward the legacy of life itself. In this moment of calm, they recognized the gravity of their task ahead. The world outside was transformed. Once vibrant fields were now submerged, and the familiar landscape had vanished beneath the water. Yet, amid this change, there was beauty to be found in the stillness. The sun broke through the clouds, casting golden rays that danced across the surface of the water, creating a breathtaking panorama of light and reflection. Noah smiled softly at the sight, recognizing the artistry of creation even in its most challenging moments. This quiet world was a blank canvas, waiting for new life to paint its vibrant colors once more. As they stood there, taking in the sights and sounds of this new beginning, the family felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. They had been sheltered from the storm, preserved within the ark, and now they were on the cusp of a new chapter. The waters would recede, revealing the earth once more, and with it, the promise of growth, of renewal, and of life. There was much work ahead, but in this tranquil moment, they could rest and find solace in the knowledge that they were together. Noah called his family to gather in a circle. "Let us offer our thanks," he said, his voice steady and calm. They held hands, forming a chain of unity, their hearts connected in purpose and faith. With eyes closed, they offered their prayers, thanking God for his protection, for the strength they had found in one another, and for the promise of new beginnings that lay ahead. In the stillness, they felt the presence of the divine enveloping them, a reminder that they were never alone in their journey. The animals, too, seemed to sense the change. Quietly, they rested in their enclosures, their eyes bright and curious, attuned to the stillness that had settled around them. The birds chirped softly, breaking the silence with their gentle melodies, as if to celebrate the end of the storm. Noah marveled at the way creation responded to the ebb and flow of life, the way the rhythm of nature continued, undeterred by the trials it faced. There was a sacredness in this moment, a reminder that life was resilient, and in every challenge lay the seeds of new beginnings. Outside, the waters began to recede slowly, inching back from the trees and fields, revealing patches of earth that had been hidden beneath the surface. Each day brought with it the promise of revelation, as the ground began to emerge from its watery grave. Noah felt a stirring within him, an anticipation for what was to come. He knew that with each receding wave, the landscape would change, and life would once again take root in the rich soil that had been nourished by the waters of the flood. As they settled into this new rhythm, the family spent their days observing the world around them. They took turns watching for changes outside, eagerly anticipating the moments when the earth would reappear. Together, they discussed the future, the possibilities that lay ahead, and the importance of nurturing the life they would bring forth. Noah reminded them of the beauty of creation, of the interconnectedness of all living things, and the sacred trust they had been given to care for the earth. In the evenings, they would gather once more, sharing stories and laughter, allowing their spirits to lift as they connected with one another. The storm had tested them, but it had also united them in ways they could never have imagined. They had emerged from the darkness of the flood, and now they were stepping into the light of a new dawn. With each passing day, the sun climbed higher in the sky, warming the waters and coaxing the earth to awaken from its slumber. The family felt a deep sense of purpose driving them forward, knowing that their journey was far from over. The promise of life awaited them, a gift that they would honor with every breath they took. The stillness of the world outside was not an ending. It was merely the beginning of something profound. And so, they waited, filled with hope and anticipation, ready to embrace the new life that awaited them beyond the ark. As the waters settled, a sense of calm enveloped them, whispering of the beauty of creation that was yet to unfold. The world, once tumultuous and stormy, had been washed clean, and now it lay in quiet stillness, waiting for the moment when it would bloom anew. As the days passed and the waters continued to recede, a gentle excitement filled the air within the ark. The time had come for Noah and his family to take the first steps towards discovering what lay beyond the confines of their floating sanctuary. The world outside had transformed into a mysterious landscape, one still blanketed in calm waters, but now teeming with the promise of new beginnings. With each sunrise, the golden light poured over the tranquil sea, illuminating the remnants of the world they had once known. Noah, always the steady leader of his family, felt a stirring within his heart. He knew it was time to seek signs of life beyond the ark's sturdy walls. With a sense of purpose, he gathered his family together, their spirits buoyed by hope. "Today we will send forth a dove," he said, his voice calm and reassuring. "This little creature will help us discover if the waters have receded enough for the earth to support life again." The family nodded in agreement, their faces bright with anticipation. They had waited long for this moment, eager to catch a glimpse of the world that lay beyond. Noah chose a gentle dove, one that had been raised within the safety of the ark. Its feathers were soft and white, a symbol of peace and renewal. He held the dove close for a moment, feeling the warmth of its small body, and whispered a silent prayer for guidance. With a deep breath, Noah opened the window of the ark, feeling the fresh air wash over him. The dove flapped its wings in anticipation, eager to take flight. "May you find a place to rest," Noah said softly as he released the dove into the open sky. The creature soared into the air, its wings catching the light of the sun as it rose higher and higher, dancing among the gentle clouds. The family watched in silence, their hearts filled with hope as they saw the dove disappear into the vastness above. The moment felt sacred, a connection to the promise of God and the unfolding of life. They waited, filled with a sense of wonder, their eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the dove's return. Time passed slowly, each second stretching into eternity as they shared in their anticipation. The ark floated peacefully on the still waters, a haven amid the beauty of creation. The sun shone brightly, casting sparkling reflections on the surface, while the soft sound of the gentle waves lapping against the hull created a soothing rhythm that calmed their nerves. Noah's heart was a mix of hope and anxiety. He longed for good news, a sign that the earth was ready to embrace life once more. At last, after what felt like hours, they spotted a small figure appearing on the horizon. With a collective breath held tight in their chests, they watched as the dove gracefully approached the ark, its wings beating steadily as it made its way back to them. Relief washed over the family like a warm wave, and Noah felt a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. As the dove landed softly on the edge of the ark, Noah carefully reached out, cupping it in his hands. The dove cooed gently, a sound that resonated with tranquility. Noah's heart raced as he observed that in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf, a vibrant green symbol of hope and renewal. The sight filled his spirit with joy. This was a clear sign that life was returning to the earth. Noah held the dove close, feeling the pulse of life within it. He turned to his family, their faces alight with excitement and wonder. "The dove has found a place to rest," he said, his voice filled with reverence, "and it brings with it a sign of hope. The olive leaf tells us that the waters are receding, that the earth is beginning to heal." They gathered around Noah, their hearts swelling with gratitude. This simple act of releasing the dove had brought them a profound message, that even after the greatest storms, life would find a way to flourish once more. In that moment, they felt a deep connection to the earth and to the promise of God's creation. The world outside, once so tumultuous and chaotic, was slowly awakening, ready to embrace the life that lay ahead. With newfound hope, Noah gently set the dove back on the window, allowing it to stretch its wings and take in the beauty of the world. The family joined him in silence, each of them lost in their thoughts as they envisioned the landscapes that would soon emerge from the depths of the flood. They imagined vibrant fields, blooming flowers, and the songs of birds returning to the skies. Each thought brought with it a sense of joy, a reminder that they were not just survivors. They were the stewards of a new beginning. The dove, now rested, perched quietly as it gazed out at the horizon. Noah felt a sense of unity between the creature and his family, both waiting patiently for the next steps to unfold. They had endured the storms together, and now they would embrace the calm and all the possibilities it held. As they stood together, they offered a prayer of thanks, acknowledging the divine guidance that had led them to this moment. The next day, as the sun rose higher in the sky, Noah decided to send the dove out once more. It had brought them good news, and he felt compelled to seek further confirmation. With the gentle caress of the morning breeze and the warm light flooding the ark, he opened the window once again, watching as the dove took to the skies. As it soared away, the family held their breath, hearts united in prayer and hope. They knew that with each flight, the dove would bring them closer to the truth of the earth's renewal. They stood together, looking out over the peaceful waters, knowing that the day would come when they would step out of the ark and into the world anew. Time seemed to stand still as they awaited the dove's return. In the calmness of the moment, they felt the weight of their journey and the burden of responsibility that came with survival. They had been given a second chance, a rare opportunity to begin again, and it was a gift they would honor with every choice they made. At last, after what felt like an eternity, they spotted the dove returning once again. It flew back toward the ark, its wings fluttering gracefully as it approached. Noah's heart raced with anticipation as he saw that once more, the dove carried an olive leaf in its beak. The family erupted in joyful laughter and cheers, knowing that the earth was ready for them to emerge from the ark. Noah opened his arms wide as the dove landed softly, and he marveled at the beauty of the leaf it bore. "The waters are receding, and the earth is becoming green again," he exclaimed, his voice brimming with joy. They had received a sign of promise, a beautiful reminder that life would always find a way to flourish, even after the greatest storms. And so, with hearts full of hope and anticipation, they began to prepare for the next chapter of their journey. The release of the dove had opened the door to new possibilities, a promise of a world waiting to be embraced. Together, they would step forward into the light of a new day, ready to nurture the earth and celebrate the beauty of life once more. As the days passed in tranquil rhythm aboard the ark, a palpable sense of anticipation filled the air. Noah and his family remained attentive, watching the skies and the waters with unwavering hope. The dove's return had brought them joy, but it also stirred within them a yearning for the land, for the familiar textures and colors that had once painted their world. Each sunrise revealed subtle changes in the landscape, as the receding waters slowly unveiled patches of earth. And with each passing day, hope blossomed anew. One morning, as dawn broke with a gentle light, Noah stood at the window, peering out into the vast expanse of water that surrounded them. The soft glow of the sun illuminated the gentle ripples on the surface, creating a shimmering carpet of light. In that moment, Noah noticed something extraordinary. Shapes and outlines began to emerge from the depths of the water. It was as if the earth was awakening from a long slumber, stretching and unfolding in the soft light of day. Filled with wonder, Noah called his family to join him at the window. "Look!" he exclaimed, his voice a mixture of excitement and reverence. "The land is returning." Together, they watched in awe as patches of soil, rich and dark, began to break through the surface, the water receding further and revealing the contours of what had once been familiar terrain. As the sun rose higher, the the family saw the first glimpses of greenery peeking through the soil. Tiny shoots of grass and delicate flowers, timidly reaching for the light. The sight brought tears of joy to Noah's eyes, for it was a sign that life was indeed returning to the earth. With every moment, the landscape transformed before their eyes, and a deep sense of gratitude welled up within him. God's promise was unfolding, and they were witnessing the miracle of creation in real time. Noah decided it was time to send the dove out once more, to explore the newly revealed land. He felt a sense of purpose as he approached the window, and with a steady hand, he released the dove into the bright blue sky. The bird took flight, soaring high above the ark, its wings catching the wind as it ventured forth into the new world. The family watched eagerly, their hearts filled with hope, waiting for the moment when the dove would return with news of the earth. As they awaited its return, they turned their attention to the ever-changing landscape outside. The gentle hum of the world began to fill the air. They could hear the soft rustle of leaves and the distant sound of water flowing. Birds chirped joyfully from the trees that had managed to endure the flood, their songs creating a melody of life. The family felt an overwhelming sense of connection to the creation that surrounded them, a bond that deepened with every sound, every sight. Hours passed, and the family gathered near the window, their eyes fixed on the horizon. They felt as if they were on the brink of a great adventure, and the air was thick with anticipation. The sun began its slow descent, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, casting a warm glow over the waters. Just when doubt began to creep into their hearts, they spotted a familiar figure soaring towards them. The dove was returning. With bated breath, they watched as the dove flew closer, its wings flapping gracefully. Noah opened the window wide, ready to welcome the messenger of hope back into the safety of the ark. As the dove landed softly on the edge, Noah leaned in, his heart racing with anticipation. He could see that the dove carried something in its beak, and as it drew nearer, he could hardly contain his excitement. In that moment, the dove dropped a small branch adorned with fresh green leaves at Noah's feet. The family gasped in unison, their hearts swelling with joy. It was a sign, a confirmation that the land was not only reappearing but thriving. Noah lifted the branch with reverence, marveling at the tender new growth that adorned it. "The earth is alive," he exclaimed, turning to his family with a radiant smile. "We are ready to step into this new beginning." With laughter and cheers of delight, they celebrated the dove's return and the promise it represented. The olive branch was a symbol of peace and hope, a reminder of God's faithfulness and the cycle of life that continued even after the storm. They gathered around Noah, sharing in the moment, their hearts intertwined with a sense of purpose and belonging. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the water, Noah felt a renewed sense of determination. They had waited long enough. It was time to prepare for their arrival on land. The promise of a new home was beckoning them, and with each passing moment, the vision of what could be began to take shape in their minds. They envisioned lush fields where animals would roam freely, vibrant flowers blooming under the sun, and trees stretching toward the heavens. Noah gathered his family together, his voice steady and calm. "Tomorrow we will step out of the ark," he declared. "We will embrace the world that awaits us and begin to nurture it as caretakers of God's creation." The family nodded in agreement, their spirits soaring with excitement. They spent the evening discussing their plans, the tasks that lay ahead, and the beauty they hoped to cultivate in this new land. That night, they slept with dreams filled with visions of vibrant landscapes, of life in abundance, and of the joy that awaited them. Each member of the family felt a deep connection to the earth, a bond that had been forged through their trials. They had survived the storm, and now they were ready to embrace the light of a new day. As the dawn broke on the horizon, painting the sky in soft pastels, Noah stood at the window, gazing out at the world that lay before him. The ark had been their sanctuary, a vessel of safety and hope, but now it was time to embark on a new journey, a journey into the heart of creation itself. The earth, once submerged, was awakening, and Noah felt an unshakable sense of purpose guiding him forward. With the sun casting its first rays upon the land, Noah called his family to gather. They joined him at the entrance of the ark, hearts racing with excitement and a sense of awe. Together, they stepped out onto the firm ground, feeling the solid earth beneath their feet for the first time in many months. It was a moment of profound joy and gratitude, a celebration of life and the beauty of God's creation. As they stood there, taking in the sights and sounds around them, Noah felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The land had returned, and with it came the promise of renewal, growth, and endless possibilities. They were no longer just survivors of a great flood. They were now the stewards of a new world, entrusted with the care of all living things. Together, they embraced the dawn of this new chapter, ready to nurture the land and celebrate the beauty of life as they stepped forward into the sunlight. The earth was waiting for them, alive with potential, and they were prepared to honor its sacred gift. The morning sun rose gently over the horizon, casting a warm golden glow across the earth. Noah stood at the entrance of the ark, heart racing with a mixture of excitement and reverence. Today was the day they would step onto dry land for the first time since the storm had swept them away. The air was filled with a crisp freshness, carrying the scent of new growth and possibility. Noah took a deep breath, allowing the invigorating aroma to fill his lungs as he gathered his family around him. Today marks a new beginning for all of us, Noah said, his voice steady and filled with conviction. He looked into the eyes of his wife, their children, and their spouses, seeing the shared hope reflected in each of their faces. We have been given a precious gift, the chance to start anew. Let us honor this gift with gratitude and love. With that, Noah stepped forward, leading his family out of the ark. Each footfall felt monumental as they moved from the safety of their floating sanctuary onto the firm, solid ground. The earth, once hidden beneath the tumultuous waters, now stretched out before them in all its glory. The sight was breathtaking. Lush fields of grass danced in the gentle breeze, vibrant wildflowers adorned the landscape, and the sound of birds singing echoed through the air. It was as if the world itself was rejoicing at their return. As they ventured further from the ark, Noah felt a deep sense of connection to the land. It was alive with colors and sounds, a reminder of God's creative power and the beauty of life that persisted even through the darkest of storms. He turned to his family, who were now exploring the terrain with wonder and delight. They marveled at the sight of trees with fresh leaves unfurling and bushes bursting with blooms. It was a sight they had longed for during their time on the ark, and now it was more magnificent than they could have ever imagined. Noah's heart swelled with gratitude as he observed his family, his wife embracing the soft earth with bare feet, his children laughing and chasing one another through the tall grass, and their spouses marveling at the beauty of creation. This was their home now, and the air was thick with potential, waiting for them to nurture it and watch it flourish. As they moved further away from the ark, Noah knew that their first task was to explore the land and assess the resources available to them. He had always felt a deep responsibility toward creation, a duty to care for the earth and all its inhabitants. This land would need their love and attention, and he was determined to lead his family in cultivating it. Let us divide our tasks, Noah suggested, gathering everyone's attention. We will need to plant crops, build shelter, and gather fresh water. Together, we can create a home that honors the beauty of this land. The family nodded in agreement, energized by the idea of working side by side to shape their new lives. Noah took the lead, guiding them toward a nearby stream that sparkled in the sunlight. The water flowed gently, its clear surface reflecting the blue sky above. Here, he said, pointing to the stream, we will find fresh water for drinking and for our future gardens. He knelt beside the water, scooping some into his hands and tasting it, his face breaking into a wide smile. It is pure and refreshing, a true gift from God. His family joined him, each taking a moment to savor the cool, clear water. It was invigorating, a reminder of the life they had been given and the nourishment that lay ahead. Once they had quenched their thirst, Noah led them further into the land, where they discovered an area perfect for planting seeds. Together, they marked out a space in the rich, dark soil, eager to cultivate crops that would sustain them. Noah taught his family how to plant the seeds with care, covering them gently with soil as they whispered words of encouragement. "With patience and love, these seeds will grow," he explained. "Just as we have grown through our trials, they will flourish and provide for us in the days to come." As they worked, the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm light over their labor. Noah marveled at the teamwork and laughter that filled the air. It was a beautiful symphony of life and renewal. Each family member contributed their strengths. Some planted seeds, while others gathered stones to mark the rows. Together, they were weaving a tapestry of hope and new beginnings. When their planting was complete, they took a moment to step back and admire their work. The land, once a blank canvas, was now dotted with tiny mounds of soil, a promise of the crops to come. They stood together in silence, a collective sense of accomplishment washing over them. It was a humble beginning, but it was theirs, a reflection of their perseverance and faith. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in vibrant hues of orange and pink, Noah gathered his family once more. They settled down in a circle, their hearts full from a day of labor and joy. "Let us take a moment to reflect on our journey," he suggested. "We have endured much, but through it all, we have remained strong as a family." They bowed their heads, each offering silent prayers of gratitude for their survival, for the land, and for the chance to begin anew. Noah spoke aloud, his voice steady and filled with emotion. "We are blessed to have this land, and it is our duty to care for it. Let us honor God by nurturing this creation and living in harmony with it." His family nodded in agreement, a sense of unity enveloping them as they made a promise to protect and cherish the earth they had been gifted. As darkness fell, they returned to the ark for the night, but their hearts were light with hope. They knew that each day would bring new challenges and discoveries, but they were ready to face whatever came their way. Together, they would create a life filled with love, laughter, and gratitude, honoring the land and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. In the stillness of the night, as the stars twinkled above them, Noah felt a deep sense of peace. They had stepped onto dry land, leaving behind the storms of the past, and now they were embarking on a journey that would shape their future. It was a new beginning, one filled with the whispers of the earth and the promise of life, and he knew that they were ready to embrace it wholeheartedly. As the sun began to set on their first day upon the dry land, Noah and his family gathered in a small clearing near the edge of the stream. The sky, painted in soft pastels of orange and pink, served as a breathtaking backdrop for the moment they had long awaited. They felt the warmth of the sun's rays on their faces, a gentle reminder of the promise of a new beginning and the life that lay ahead. It was a day filled with labor, joy, and a renewed connection to creation. But now it was time to pause, reflect, and give thanks. Before we retire for the night, I believe it is important that we express our gratitude, Noah said, his voice filled with conviction. We have been guided through storms and trials, and now we stand on the brink of a new life. Let us build an altar to honor God, to remember his faithfulness, and to give thanks for the blessings we have received. His family nodded, their hearts resonating with his words, understanding the significance of this moment. With that, they began to gather stones from the riverbank. Each family member selected a stone, feeling its weight in their hands, and as they did, they contemplated the journey that had brought them here. There was a sense of reverence as they laid the stones carefully in a circle, each one representing a piece of their story, a testament to their resilience, their unity, and their unwavering faith. Once the altar was complete, Noah knelt down in the center, motioning for his family to join him. They formed a circle around the altar, holding hands as they bowed their heads, ready to offer their prayers of thanksgiving. The soft sounds of the stream flowing nearby created a serene ambience, a soothing lullaby that enveloped them, inviting them into a moment of reflection. Noah began, his voice calm and steady. "O Lord, we come before you with grateful hearts. We thank you for guiding us through the storm, for the safety of the ark, and for the gift of this new land. You have protected us, and we are filled with awe at your unfailing love." The family listened intently, feeling the weight of his words as they echoed in the stillness around them. "Today marks a new beginning for us," Noah continued, and we acknowledge that every blessing we have comes from you. Help us to remember this day as we cultivate the land and nurture the life that will flourish here. May we be faithful stewards of your creation, honoring you in all that we do. The sincerity of his prayer resonated deeply within the hearts of his family, each one silently agreeing with the words spoken. As Noah finished, each member of the family took a moment to voice their own thoughts, sharing their gratitude and hopes. They prayed for strength in the days to come, for wisdom to guide their actions, and for the joy of creation to fill their lives. One by one, they expressed their thankfulness for the bonds of family, for the beauty of the earth, and for the promise of life that stretched before them like the vast expanse of sky. I thank you, God, for the laughter of my children, Noah's wife said, her voice soft and filled with love, for the joy that fills our hearts as we explore this beautiful land. Their children followed, each sharing their own words of gratitude, celebrating the joy of togetherness, the thrill of discovery, and the wonder of life blooming all around them. As they finished their prayers, a profound silence settled over the group. The tranquility of the evening wrapped around them like a comforting blanket, and they felt an overwhelming sense of peace. They had weathered the storm, and now they stood on solid ground, united in faith and love, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. Noah looked up at the sky, now a canvas of twinkling stars. God has blessed us with this moment, and we will honor him with our lives, he said, his voice filled with conviction. Let us remember that we are never alone. He is always with us, guiding us, even in the darkest of times. The family exchanged knowing smiles, hearts intertwined in a shared commitment to trust in God's guidance. In the stillness of that sacred moment, they each made a silent promise to cherish the land, to care for one another, and to live in harmony with all of creation. They understood that this was not just a new beginning for them as a family, but also a continuation of God's creation story. A story of hope, love, and redemption that would unfold in the days to come. As they prepared to leave the altar, Noah took a final glance around, taking in the beauty of the land that now belonged to them. The trees whispered softly in the breeze, the stream bubbled cheerfully, and the stars began to twinkle like diamonds against the deepening night sky. It was a scene of tranquility, a reminder of the goodness of God. With hearts full of gratitude, they returned to their makeshift camp near the ark, ready to rest after a day of labor and love. They settled around a small fire, sharing stories and laughter, their voices mingling with the gentle sounds of the night. The warmth of the flames illuminated their faces, reflecting the hope and joy that filled their hearts. As they drifted off to sleep beneath the vast expanse of stars, Noah felt a profound sense of peace envelop him. They had stepped onto dry land, but more importantly, they had stepped into a new chapter of their lives, a chapter filled with promise, purpose, and the unwavering presence of God. In the days to come, they would work together to cultivate the land, nurture its beauty, and build a life that honored the Creator who had guided them through the storm. Together, they would create a legacy of love, a testament to their faith, and a story that would be passed down through generations. A story of survival, hope, and the beauty of new beginnings. Thank you for joining us on this peaceful journey through the story of Noah's Ark. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and consider subscribing to our channel to join our community and for more videos like this. Now I wish you a peaceful and blessed sleep, and I'll see you on the next video. May God bless you.